Synecdoche, New York is about Coden Cuttard, who is a theater director and also somewhat of a genius, who is also given a genius grant. If you don't know what a genius grant is, it's basically for being incredibly smart, you get a shitload of money and you're allowed to do whatever you want with that money. So he decides to do a playwright of he decides to do a playwright of A Death of a Salesman, and but that kind of unravels with Caden Cuttard's life. His life is just so absolutely shitty that his wife leaves him, and she takes the child, saying that it's just a holiday, and then the becoming a 17-year holiday, and it's really interesting how Caden Cuttard, I'm sorry, it's a very hard name for me to say, who is played by Philip Seymour Hoffman, his life really does just completely unravel, and reality starts becoming less and less clear. And it's very interesting because it's done in a surreal style, so it becomes more of a dream world. It's and the way that he tries to direct this play, it's very strange because he starts he wants to play. It's almost like the play is about himself, his life, and the characters in it you start the way that they talk with each other, they start confusing each other. You think Philip Seymour Hoffman's himself? Nuh-uh. The person that's playing him is actually himself. It's very confusing, and so I'm just going to get into what I liked and disliked about this movie. What I liked about this movie is completely fucking nuts. Trying to fully understand every aspect of it is just it's just an impossibility. I mean, it's a Charlie Kaufman movie. He was the guy who did Being John Malkovich. If you've seen Being John Malkovich, trying to understand everything about Being John Malkovich is just impossible. Two, I really love Philip Seymour Hoffman's character. He's very obsessed with his own death, and it's very apparent that he doesn't know whether he's alive or dead, and alive or dead. And in the movie, it's a recurring theme that's going on. It's do you know if you're dead? I don't know. I mean, in the beginning, he has all of these ailments, but throughout the film, those kind of wane, but you still have this extremely strong feeling that he's actually dead. Another thing that I really loved throughout this film is that the love interests in the film, the people that Caden Cuttard is really in love with. You can really feel it, and Philip Seymour Hoffman is the perfect person to really depict love. It's such a great actor, and it's quite interesting to see his love interests because while all these things are extremely confusing, but one thing is clear: he is in love with these people and the people that are around him, and that's always good to see. Okay. Well, one thing I didn't like about this movie is that they had some, this happy family music in certain parts of the movie, and it just did not fit the tone of the film, which is incredibly somber. It's a very sad movie. It feels like a movie where the entire time you're waiting for Caden Cuttard to die. Essentially, yeah, you're waiting for him to die, or no, it actually feels like it's one long death sequence. The family music was just very stupid to me, and it was a poor choice. The film is utterly confusing. That's another problem. While I do understand a lot of it, I really do like the feeling of the film. It didn't really come together for me until around the end of the movie, and that for people that are impatient and just what the fuck is this movie about? It may not be for those people. It's too out there. It's too strange, and with the utterly confusing thing, it's just there's a bunch of this third person speak going on. Caden Cuttard is talking about himself, and he's talking to a person that is playing himself, and it's just really confusing. It's just you don't know if he's talking about himself or himself over there. It's just I don't know what's going on. Who knows? So I'm going to give this movie a very, very generous, keep this in mind, I'm saying very generous 1 thumb up, because I like the death theme throughout this film, and I love Philip Seymour Hoffman. He's a great guy. And, you know, I like surreal films. But whilst I'm saying this, it's very hard to actually review a surreal film and say, hey, you're going to like this movie. I don't really think that reviewing surreal films is exact science at all. I can just tell you the good things and bad things. I'm Gregor Gonda, and I say give Synecdoche, New York a chance. It's, I mean, if you're sitting there and you're absolutely repulsed by the movie, hey, don't get mad at me. Just, yeah, that's terrible. Don't get mad at me, but try to watch the ending of the film. It really does wrap up really well, and I think it's a worthwhile watch if you love Philip Seymour Hoffman like I do. 1 thumb up. Peace out, guys. Rate, comment, subscribe. If you've actually seen this movie, which I highly doubt you have, because, I mean, the budget of this movie was $20 million, and it only made $4 million, which really, really sucks. So, yeah, try to give this movie a little bit of a chance. You know, try to get the company a little bit of money. I'm Gregor Gonda. I say watch Synecdoche, New York. It's a decent movie. Peace out.